So the resources that we have currently at hand, and the first one we want to talk about is the EIDA loan, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And that's the one that's been an operation that you can apply online. The loan is it's geared towards assistance in payroll, fixed debts, accounts payable, other expenses that can't be paid because of this disaster. That loan can be up to $2 million with an interest rate of 3.75% with a term of up to 30 years. So that is a very favorable loan perspective for small business owners to try to overcome this period. The application process is done directly to the SBA online through their website. The application documentation is going to be inclusive of several documents that could be confusing. The suggestion that we have at the bank is work with professionals that understand some of the documentation, your CPA or any financial advisor that you may have. But what we want to do this morning is to try to help you as best we can with some of the information. For example, one of the documents is going to be a schedule of liabilities or a debt schedule, most commonly known as. This is just going to be a list of all your existing debts that are on your balance sheet when you are at the most current balance sheet that your business has, right? Line item by line item, the total of current balances should total to your total long-term liabilities on your balance sheet.
This is something people need to have ready.
Yes,
if
sir.
they're going to go for that Economic Injury Disaster Loan, the EIDL, what he's giving you right now, have this information ready. Maybe you need to get on with your accountant, whoever does, you work through to do your taxes, you name it. He's trying to give you the information of things that you need to have standing by so that you can get that filled out correctly and get it in the stack, get it in the pot.
So if we may, we have a couple questions that are coming in, and if you'll explain to them that as they. So Cecil Dio is asking, they went to our local Seacoast Bank about these particular loans, and they don't have the applications ready. Should she go to another bank?
Okay. So specifically to the EIDA loan, that is something that is accessible for everyone right now online, right? So that is a vehicle that you will not be applying to any bank for. We'll discuss further on another program, the Paycheck Protection program. That is a program that will be administered by the banks, any bank that is participating in the program. That is not out yet. The guidance should be in sometime this week. And once that's in, we'll know exactly what documents we need to collect. But we do have an idea of what you need to have ready for that.
So one of the things, I guess, that goes to this point, as I said in the opening, we have both been on the phone with the Small Business Administration already this morning. I was trying to get a number of these forms from them to print out, directly from the Small Business Administration, so that we could hold them up and say, this is the exact form and this is what you need to have prepared for it. And as the Small Business Administration, the people there were trying to send me the link to print off those forms, they were realizing that some of their links that they're used to going to were actually pulled from the Small Business Administration's website. So much of what we're talking about is fluid because they may be cutting down on some of the requirements to get some of those loans approved. What we're trying to give you is right now, if you were applying for this, last month or the month before, if we were going back in time, this is the information that you would need so that you can be best prepared to get this done. So yes, maybe they don't have all of that information at every bank on what you need. We're trying to give you as the small business owner what you need to be prepared because you're going to likely need it, but that's just an example of where this is fluid. Even some of the individuals at the SBA are seeing changes on their own websites that they weren't aware of until they were going on the website themselves. So as we get more up-to-date information, we'll keep giving you more up-to-date information on that. Steven, did you have another question? Or
I don't. You guys are hitting on the points. If we were a small gym here in Stewart, what would we do? If we're a pizza parlor in Fort Pierce or we're a local marina, walk us through that step, getting involved, where we go and how we do it.
I think the underlying point across all these programs is have the information ready and available.
What information?
So, for example, the first one we want to talk about was a schedule of liabilities, which is basically a list of all your current debts that your business has. Okay?
what are the different line items on that
So,
schedule?
for example, you have the name of your creditor, the original loan amount, the original date of the when the debt was incurred, the current balance, the current what the current status of that loan is, the maturity of that loan, and what the current monthly payment is for that liability, and how it's secured, whether it's secured by an asset, unsecured, or UCC lien. So if you can, the best of your ability, fill out this line by line for every debt that is listed on the business's balance sheet.
Now let's say we have an individual that maybe they work in the same sector, but they have 3 or 4 or however many businesses that all, they're labeled differently, but they're in the same sector. Do they have to fill that out for each individual business?
This and every application will be for every specific entity. If you own multiple entities, it is entity specific, not individual specific.
So a couple questions as you guys are coming up. We have Carmela has a small business, a small cleaning business. She applies.
Correct.
Same, okay. And then also,
We got a couple of phones running here.
we have Lori. Can I apply for unemployment as well as PPP as a small business owner?
Yes, you can apply for unemployment. These are all of these. The recommendation that the banks are providing is apply to all the programs that are available. The only caveat is you cannot accept funds for the same purpose. So if you apply for EIDL for payroll assistance, you cannot then go and accept funds for a Paycheck Protection program, the PPP, for the same use of purposes, right? So be very careful that you're not double dipping across the different programs. But you are encouraged to apply to every resource that's available to you.
We didn't get to the Paycheck Protection Program, those new 7A loans, but we're going to get to those in a couple of minutes as we finish up on this EIDL. But that's important, and that's one of the things that can be very time consuming. If you have a number of businesses and you have to go through all of this paperwork for each one of those for an EIDL, that can be time consuming. You need to anticipate that. Being on the phone with the Small Business Administration, one of the things that I asked them is, would they be able to provide us with one of their individuals, just like Javier is sitting with us today, to go through this exact sort of thing, kind of line by line. They're working through whether they'll give us somebody or just give us a PowerPoint, which they have out there to share with people or come up with their own video, but we're trying to get the Small Business Administration to do a line by line on video so that you can pause it, look at it, answer that question for yourself and get the information in there appropriately. But Javier, go ahead.
Perfect. Another document that you're going to need to fill out is the 4506T. The 4506T is a document that allows whoever you provide this information access IRS data directly and they pull in information. One key tip for this is you're going to want to look at your most current tax return and see how that information is logged on that tax return, and it should emulate on this document. If not, this document would be rejected by the IRS, therefore delaying your process.
A lot of folks that have worked through EIDLs, economic injury disaster loans before, if you've worked through it, you know that this can be a loan that it might take a little time for you to get. What I can say to you is, right, I don't work for the SBA. I try to hold them accountable. Everything is being done to make this not be a process that takes 6 to 8 months. We don't want that to be the case. The Treasury is working on this, SBA is working on this, members of Congress like me are pushing them to say, what do we need to do? Do we need to get you more employees? Do we need to get you more local staff? Do we need to, what needs to happen so that this isn't a 6 to 8 month process for the economic injury disaster loans, where previously those kind of loans, if you worked through them before, you know that can be a lengthy process. Do you have more that you want to give on economic injury disaster loans, or are you gonna?
I think this is perfect.
Okay.
So these forms, like Ronnie Kirchman here saying, these forms can be found online.
Yes, sir.
At what website?
So the website that the SBA is using for the EIDL currently is...
Wait, let me pause in here. So this is one of the things that I just spoke about, Ronnie, is saying when they tried to send me the link to print these forms that we just had up, there was difficulty. It was no longer up where the SBA, the head of the SBA in South Florida here was used to finding that. It was no longer available. So there are some internal changes going on with that right now. We're trying to give you the information that you would normally have to get so that you can be prepared, because it's likely you're going to need that, but very clearly something internally is going on there that they're changing some of these things. So if I gave you the link where they told me to go, I couldn't pull it up. They actually had to email those forms to me for me to print out. So Ronnie, I can't give you that information right now. We'd be giving you an incorrect URL. When I can, Ronnie, we'll email you the forms. I'll just send you the same email that I had. But as we get an updated link for the forms that you need, we'll send out that update on Facebook, on our website, on Facebook, on anywhere that we can send it. We'll put that out when SBA has an updated link, because as of 30 minutes ago, when I was trying to find it, it was not there, and they had to email it to me. So